Hey Trekkies, it's summer, and you know what that means. It's time for Creation Entertainment's Trek to Las Vegas 2025. This year, the convention has been expanded to a 5-day schedule, August 6th through the 10th at the Rio Las Vegas Hotel. Meet all your favorite Star Trek pros in one place, and hey, maybe you swing by Vic's Lounge and you see our panel. It's a great way to meet people in person and have some fun with your fellow Trekkies. If you can't make it to Star Trek Las Vegas, of course, there's also other events around the country this year. Trek to Orlando, August 23rd through 24th. There's the Trek to New Jersey, September 6th and 7th. And finally, the Trek to Chicago, November 22nd and 23rd. We're looking forward to meeting as many of you as we can this year. So make sure that you get ready to trek to Las Vegas.
Is this thing on? Hello, hello.
Welcome to Open Pike Fright, the Strange Ghoul Worlds podcast, where your personal logs are the crime directive. I'm your host, John T. Blood, here tonight with my co-hosts, Jesse Flailing You Alive.
I would never do that. The mess would be unacceptable.
And Cameron Scarrison.
Quick, I need a young podcast host and an old podcast. Oh, I'm the old podcast host.
And we are joined by our amazing callers and our special guest tonight, Marcy Killips.
That's right. Just give me a machete and I'll come out at you.
And we are here, of course, to talk Halloween. I'm not going to do my terrible Crypt Keeper impression the entire time, but I could not resist.
You would never be able to podcast again if you did that whole episode.
Oh, I thought that was Worf's brother Kern, honestly.
I was very Kern. It was somewhere between Crypt Keeper and Kern, you know. I didn't try my Crypt Keeper laugh. It's been a long time since I practiced that. So I am recording. If my audio sounds a little off, I'm in a hotel room right now. I had an idea, a great idea for a new novel. I just needed to get away. It's way too warm where I live, so I decided to go somewhere snowy, but I'm sure I'll be back. I'll be back at some point. Don't worry. The book will be great. But it's getting a little cold. And
how's the wife and kid? How are they dealing with it?
Oh, they're great. I'm going to go check out the bar. So, yeah. Anyway, we are here tonight to talk all things Star Trek and all things scary for a special holiday Halloween episode. Cam, why don't you tell us what you're the one who's been pushing for a Halloween episode. What do you want to talk about?
I live for Halloween special, so anything, guys. What do you want to talk about? I'm here. No, I think we'll, it's Halloween. We'll share some of our favorite horror movies, our top 5 horror movies we're going to share, and a lot of our callers have shared, and a special guest caller as well. And to keep things Trekky, we will also discuss our favorite spooky Trek episode. Spooky.
Well, there's 900 episodes, so hopefully there's enough spooky ones to go around for everybody, but we'll just have to see, won't we? Like Cam said, we have some amazing callers, some callers we haven't heard from in a while who reached out to us tonight. And what do you think? Should we hear from the first one?
Let's jump in.
Yeah, this is actually one of our most consistent callers to the Open Pike Night stage.
Hi guys, here's Melanie, and yeah, we're also doing Halloween over here in Germany. Let's see, Halloween special. First up, the spookiest Trek episode for me, well, it's Memento Mori. When we did our top 3 episodes, I completely forgot how good this was. And it is spooky, Hammer dies, they hunt the Goron through the ship, and it's kind of Star Trek goes alien. Very good episode, how could I have missed it? Now, my favorite horror movies. Well, that is something I admit I am not too fond of. I don't really watch horror or thrillers. And the last ones I saw, well, you'll find out now. I also admit that I am currently a little bit preoccupied with someone, so alright, enough stalling, here they are. Visions from 2015, Urban Legends 2 from 2000, All the Girls Love Mandy Lane from 2006, Hood of Horror from 2007, Straw Dogs from 2011. If you wonder about the connection, yeah. As I am a fan of Anson Mount and not of horror movies, I'm sorry, guys. These are the last ones I watched and liked. If only for Anson being in them. Yes, that's the connection. I told you I'm pretty preoccupied. Live long and prosper, and happy Halloween and trick-or-treating.
Anson Mount's in the Straw Dogs remake?
I did not know that.
I haven't seen any of those movies, Melanie, I have to be honest, but I'm going to hunt down that Straw Dogs remake right now for Anson.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in City by the Sea either until I was reading something about Crossroads.
Ah.
Yeah. Apparently I've missed a lot of Anson Mount movies.
I'm right there with you, Melanie. I've tried to explain this to my wife, who is like the world's biggest slasher movie fan. I think I get too invested when I watch a movie, right? Like I buy in too much, and so I get really scared when scary things happen, and I'm not really one of those people that loves being terrified. So I brought some movies that will probably surprise folks based on that, but I haven't seen a ton of scary movies. Cameron and John can attest. It took me basically the entire day to come up with 5 that I had even seen. And there was like 1 or 2 that got left out because I know they're supposed to be scary, but you know, they weren't necessarily that scary. But we'll get into it. Thank you, as always, for sticking to a theme, Melanie. I really appreciate that.
Well, yes, I love Melanie's dedication to Anson Mount. That's very much
dedication.
a dedication to Anson Mount. Yeah, of course. Like, who wouldn't? Look at that guy. I mean, I know he's a little smaller in disco, but he beefs up.
Yep.
We'll have to have Melanie come on for our Christmas special to tell us all about Krampus.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, yeah, there we
Is
go.
he in that?
No, just Krampus is in Germany.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one with Adam Scott? Because I think I may have liked that one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We heard from our most consistent caller. We also got a call from somebody I think we've only heard from once or twice before. Let's hear from the Scorch, Jesse.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be hot.
What scares the Enterprise?
Hello, everyone. It's the Scorch. Number 1 spooky Star Trek episode. Genesis. Runner-up. Empok Nor. Top 5 scary movies. Ghost Ship.
Oh.
Poseidon. Titanic. Speed 2 Cruise Control. USS Christmas. That's it. That's my list. I tried. I really did. I hope everyone has a happy Halloween.
Not the Philadelphia experiment?
For the final countdown?
What's the USS Christmas?
Happy Halloween, Scorch. I'm
Halloween.
totally here
Halloween,
for
yeah.
Halloween.
Yes.
It's interesting that John was not the only one to bring very well-considered Halloween puns this time. So we have the best callers, you guys. I say it every week, but I mean it every time. Thank you, the Scorch.
I will say Ghost Ship probably has the biggest gulf between best part of the movie and worst part of the movie. The best part of the movie being the opening and a single flashback scene, and the worst part being everything else. But
yeah, even though Star Trek Bones McCoy, Carl Urban is in that freaking movie. It was one of his first movies ever. I'm like, that is him? What's right? I forgot he was in this. Man, I've said it about Supernova. I love that terrible movie. I will watch Ghost Ship anytime it's on. That's a terrible film.
And the Scorch throwing some shade at the Titanic. Now, I can understand now how people, give the Titanic shit, but that was a really good movie back in the day. So,
yeah, but if you're a ship, it's a scary movie.
Yes.
So.
Right.
Because the boat gets carved open pretty gruesomely.
Marcy, in case you're unfamiliar with the Scorch.
Oh, he's the Enterprise. I get it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
he's the whole plate that has not been replaced
the Scorch.
yet.
I can understand now.
Yes.
I'll pet your hull a little bit to make you feel better.
The Scorch is British?
Everybody, the Scorch is a robot?
Well, that checks out.
That makes sense. We had one right in. Cam, you want to let us know what David Jones said?
Yeah, David Jones, previous guest, says, "Hey, everyone. So my favorite movies are definitely the Halloween series, Silence of the Lambs, and, for bragging reasons, obviously Thanksgiving, because I'm in it.
Yeah.
But it was a good holiday slasher. Agreed. For Star Trek, definitely Genesis. It was a very unique episode. Genesis is the next episode we'll be recording for Green Shirt, which I have not watched yet. So I'm very excited now to know that it's a spooky one.
Yeah. And I think Thanksgiving is the last horror movie I saw in theaters.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
The last slasher movie that I saw in theaters was Trap, which also features our friend David Jones.
Nice.
And I gotta say, I had more fun with that movie than I expected to.
I want to see it.
Josh Hartnett still totally has it. Dude can lead a movie. There's some parts of the movie where I'm like, what is happening? And not in like a I don't understand way, but in more of like a how was this the choice they made sort of a way. But that's not David Jones's fault. That's M. Night Shyamalan's fault. And it's fine. I still had a good time. Like I said, more fun than I expected to have with that particular setup. But if I'm being super honest, it just made me want to watch Death Note. Because I'm like, ooh, serial killer, cat and mouse. There's one agent who's totally after this guy. You're going to hear throughout my picks that I'm like a very low level, basic, scary movie fan. And I'm okay with that.
I love it.
It's okay, Jesse. I think I was traumatized so many times in my early youth / young 20s that I'm the same at this point that I have to vet any horror movie that I watch. So
yeah, you know what? Let's get this out of the way. Have any of you watched the Terrifier movies, or do you plan to?
I plan to. Yeah,
I'm interested. I'm curious. I want to.
We're what, 3 of them? They got 3 now. How many?
The
are
third
there?
just came out. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Cameron, the most recent one is a Christmas movie, which is part of why I asked.
Ah, okay.
Whoever thought of
Yeah.
crossing Halloween with Christmas? That's a good idea.
No,
Never really done before.
I don't think it would work. And you know what? As long as they don't do it stop motion or as a musical, I think they might have a shot, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it would work.
Well, I guess we'll get off this hot topic and talk about Jesse's this call and Jesse's mention of Josh Hartnett dovetails nicely. I did want to ask. We only had 5 picks. We only get to choose 5 horror movies, and man, I had a hard time.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 5?
So I'm gonna give one of my runners up with Josh Hartnett. I'm gonna say one of my runners up was The Faculty. I think that is a solid horror sci-fi movie, and I watched it recently. Got to show it to my girlfriend. She's the first time she ever saw it. That movie holds up, and I was sad it couldn't make my top 5.
I wouldn't say that movie is very scary, though.
Oh, just wait till you hear my list, Marcy.
And like sci-fi thriller, even psychological thrillers.
thriller.
Are they horror?
Her head
it's a little-
crawls around on the ground with tentacles. They shoot the principal in the head and melt her face.
Okay.
Now, maybe not surprisingly, I've never seen that movie, but doesn't it also feature Jon Stewart of The Daily Show?
Yes,
It
he gets
does.
stabbed in the eye. Dude,
And Frodo's
you
in
would
it.
really enjoy. Yeah, it's got a stacked cast. It's a good movie. Jesse, you would enjoy The Faculty for sure. You'd be like, oh, this is a rollicking good time, because it is.
I can get down with fun.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
freaking hilarious. All right, Cam, what did you have any that felt that were close to the top 5 and just didn't make it?
Oh, well, I do definitely want to give a shout out just because I think it's like the ultimate Halloween thing right now. Every year we've been watching Over the Garden Wall, which is like an 8-episode, I think, animated series. They're each about 10 minutes long. So, it's about the length of a feature movie. And it's just like if David Lynch had done an animated Cartoon Network type show, that's what Over the Garden Wall is, and it's super spooky and fun and cute and hilarious, and it's got what's his name, legend, Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Tim Curry?
Home Alone 2. Yes, Tim Curry is in it.
Wow,
Elijah
Cameron.
Wood is in it. Christopher Lloyd is in it. It's got a great cast, and it's the ultimate Halloween show.
Oh, you're talking about the bad guy from Fern Gully?
That's right. Yes,
okay.
from Congo.
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
You're talking about the hotel guy from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York?
No, I'm not talking about Donald Trump.
So nice. Finally, we got him to shut up about Trump. So While we're doing honorable mentions, I do have to shout out our friend David Jones. I put the original Halloween movie in my honorable mention list because I didn't see it until I was married to the world's biggest Halloween fan.
Mm.
And I, watching a movie from the 70s now has certain things that just go along with it.
Mhm.
But I really appreciated, like, oh, this was the first time they've ever done these things, and that's why they're scary. Like the killer POV, right? And the killer never runs, but he always catches up. And like, you don't really get more of a reason outside of, well, they're teenagers. Somebody's got to kill them, right? And that classic, what is that, 3 notes on a piano? Like, that score is amazing, and it stands the test of time. So that's definitely on my honorable mention list. I do have some other movies kind of surrounding that, but my wife says do not watch The Curse of Michael Myers. It is not part of the franchise, and she remains firm on that standpoint.
Did she get you to watch it by saying, but he looks like Captain Kirk?
Oh, I explained the Captain Kirk connection to her immediately when she said, do you want to watch this? I went, that's actually a Star Trek thing. So I think we can all see why she married me.
There you go. Well, a year ago, the other former Green Shirt Newbie Struck, the TNG host, Alex, and I took a tour around the neighborhood I grew up in because they filmed a bunch of the Halloween movies there. And we went and visited a bunch of the old filming sites and locations and stuff that was still there. And it was a good time. We had spent a good day in the city and just had a good fun time checking out what was still there, what still looks the same, what's changed. So, yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, I remember them filming like 3 of them when I was a kid, right around within a couple blocks of where I lived. Yeah.
And then I know it's cheating, but we have to talk about it for at least a second. Every Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode ever made. Like, that's probably my biggest exposure to horror ideas and like the plots of 100 horror movies. Like that was kind of my biggest horror moment when I was growing up because, like I said, I mostly watch cartoons.
You're such a lucky boy. That's your only exposure.
Well, I guess not only, but biggest.
My runner-up then would be, because I did put a couple, but now one is being added to my actual list, is E.T., as everyone knows. If anybody listened to Green Shirt, they know that as a child, I was horribly traumatized by E.T., but I was traumatized up until 2024 when I finally rewatched it again, and I was like, oh yeah, this movie's not scary at all. But I just learned that one of my friends at work has this adorable little girl. She's like 4 or 5. And she's like, Marcy, we've been watching movies together and we were watching E.T. And I was like, I was like, how could you do that to your child? And she's like, she loves E.T. She loves him so much and empathizes with him and cries when he leaves. And I was like, oh, I guess it's just me who fears the long extendo neck.
You and Rob Michaud,
Yeah.
former Green Shirt guest.
For me, it's the scene where he screams. Like, I think he's in the
Yeah.
closet
In the
and he goes,
cornfield.
ah! Like,
Yeah.
no, can't do it. I remember definitely being afraid of that as a kid.
It's been a long time since I've seen E.T.
There's some spooky moments for sure.
Yeah.
I heard the director did some stuff after that, right?
Maybe.
Might have a movie on my list.
Yeah. Actually, why don't you go ahead and play our call from Trev, because he just talked about that director, one of his movies on their most recent episode of Failure to Franchise with The Adventures of Tintin.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
Here we go.
Hey, it's Trev beaming in from Failure to Franchise, the podcast devoted to failed movie franchise starters. I could not resist this one. You sent out the signal for Halloween messages, and as on my Twitter profile, my 2 main loves are horror and Shrek, so this is perfect. My 5 favorite scary movies, I definitely have a top 2. My favorite movie of all time is the original Night of the Living Dead. That movie pretty much defines me as a person. And then my number 2 would be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, which I do think is the best, most effective horror film ever made. Night of the Living Dead is just my sentimental favorite over it. After that, I really couldn't do a real 3 through 5 because I could make a different top 5, top 10, or top 100 any day of the week. But just for the sake of this call, I'll round out my top 5 by saying Possession from 1981, Return of the Living Dead, which is my favorite kind of party horror movie, and then the original Suspiria. In terms of Trek and horror, I really do wish Trek would dabble with horror a little bit more often. I know there's a lot of episodes that walk right up to that spooky line, episodes that people argue for as horror, like Dead Stop from Enterprise and Night Terrors from Next Generation. I love both those. But I really do think, not to suck up to the show that is at the heart of this podcast, but I guess Strange New Worlds did it best with All Those Who Wander. You could argue it was maybe a little derivative. They were just kind of doing their easy riff on Alien, but, they did it really, really well. Good spooky episode, cool creature effects, pretty emotional there at the end. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite Trek horror episode. I do wish that as Strange New Worlds goes on and keeps playing with genres, I really want them to do just a full-on zombie episode. Just like, I know the Borg are kind of zombie-ish, and that's why I do like them, but I would just love to see like a pure zombie invasion aboard the Enterprise on Strange New Worlds. If anyone is really looking to scratch that Trek horror itch, though, I would really heavily recommend tracking down and finding a copy of the original Star Trek novel, Star Trek Bloodthirst by J.M. Dillard. That is a Star Trek vampire story aboard the Enterprise with the original crew. And it's a lot of fun. Very quick read. I loved finding that one as I was diving into all my old Trek novels. So that's probably like the best Trek horror story, in my opinion. So great. Thanks for asking for this. I hope everyone has a great Halloween. And yeah, let's keep Trek spooky and let's ask Strange New Worlds to do more horror in the future. See you guys.
Heartily agree. I was just thinking about that the other day because I was editing one of our DS9 episodes, and I was like, Star Trek loves noir. They've done so many noir riffs.
Yes.
And they've only ever kind of like flirted with horror. Like, why? Like, where are the horror fans of Star Trek creators? Like, let's do a real horror. I thought for sure when we saw Zombie Hammer that we were finally getting a zombie episode, and it was not to be.
Yeah.
Well, couple things here. First of all, I gotta agree with Trev. I don't care if All Those Who Wander is a pretty paint by numbers pastiche of Alien and Aliens. I loved it. I had a ton of fun with it. I agree. It is absolutely on my Trek list for this, so I'm glad somebody brought it up. And Cameron, how could you tell me that you don't think the Trek creators are fans of horror when we have calls like this one?
Hey, Open Pike Night. Thank you guys for all of your support of everything Star Trek and Strange New Worlds. This is Davey Perez. For this spooky Halloween season, I'm happy to share my top 5 favorite scary movies of all time. Well, there's a movie I was obsessed with as a teenager. That is Castle Freak. And I could not start this list with any other movie but that one. There's another film called From Beyond, also a Stuart Gordon picture that I was a huge fan of. So I said there's a 1 and 2 there. Then, of course, there is Poltergeist. That's a huge one for a lot of people, including me. Event Horizon, I absolutely love. And the movie that gave me nightmares that I saw at a tender age of 6 years old that I should not have been watching but did is Exorcist. And that would probably be my list for the top 5 scary movies that are my all-time favorites. Castle Freak, From Beyond, Poltergeist, Event Horizon, and The Exorcist. And that's my top 5 scary movies.
And one other thing we can't not mention. Not only did Davey write Memento Mori, All Those Who Wander, Among the Lotus Eaters, and Under the Cloak of War, but his birthday is on Halloween.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Happy birthday, Davey.
Yes. I'll have to tell him happy birthday when I let him know this drops on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened. That was the one clip I listened to ahead of time, and I was in my office alone, and I squealed and clapped when he mentioned Castle Freak. Yeah, that is also etched into my mind from my youth. It is a crazy ass movie, and I say ass because you see a lot of below the belt stuff in that movie.
I've never even heard of this film.
Oh, Marcy, Castle Freak. I think Jeffrey Combs is
Mr. Star Trek himself. Yeah,
that's right. And then Barbara Crampton. They were both in From Beyond, also, which you mentioned. Big Stuart Gordon staples. But yeah. Yep.
Nice.
John, you told me I was Mr. Star Trek.
Didn't he also mention Event Horizon?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Sure did, which I should say our friend Newman the Space Hippie couldn't quite get a call in time, but he did want us to mention Event Horizon for him, which is a great sci-fi horror.
So this is on my list.
Mm-hmm. Me too, Marcy. Hell yeah.
It's also on my list of top fives.
So I did mine based on trauma and age. So it's number 2. Because that's like I saw it kind of right when it came out, and I thought it was just a straight up sci-fi. And you go in, and that is not a straight up sci-fi. That's like scary ass Sam Neill, like Hellraiser shit on a spaceship. It's so scary.
We don't know eyes where we're going.
Oh god!
Yeah, man, that was
so
one of the
scary.
first DVDs I bought just so I could freeze frame some of those flashes. And
Yeah,
Such a freak.
wow,
I did that too, Cam.
the budget they spent on the special effects for horrific images that you don't see more than like 2 frames of is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got freaking Captain Lorca himself, Jason
That's
Isaacs,
right.
there, like in
Yeah.
a very un-Jason Isaacs type role. But like he's the straight man scientist, and man, I love that movie.
And Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lawrence Fishburne, and this is probably my castle freak, as Davey was mentioning, because when I first saw this, I was a little bit too young to see this movie. And Marcy, had I followed your methodology, this would be number 1 on my list because the trauma far outweighs the amount of time you spend watching the movie. And like, I'm a full on grown up now, and I still have not seen it for a second time.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta do a watch through sometime, a watch party. I do want to go back to Trev real quick, and just one. I love the Return of the Living Dead series 1 through 3. All of them I love. I don't know about the ones after that. And I do want to say that like one of my best theater going experiences ever was the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw it at film school, and my college had like a high school, like a specialized high school attached to it with a bunch of like very emotional drama kids. And there was a lot of teenage girls at the screening of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and just like the surround sound screaming every time Leatherface showed up on screen was just like the perfect way to watch that movie.
Oh, well,
Oh,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is number 3 on my list.
Oh,
And if you are
that
a
is trauma inducing.
loyal green shirt listener from season 1, Alex, our co-host, who John mentioned earlier, is a diehard horror fan. And this was young Marcy, naive, hasn't watched any real horror films. And I was like, I want to expose you to some things. And he's like, this is one of the best horror films ever. And I'm like, okay. And then I will never be able to unsee that movie. And Trev, it is in horror, like true fear, like the scariest, in my opinion, movie ever created. Because like so much of it is filmed in the daylight. And like, so I was like, you mean scary shit can happen like in broad daylight when you're like running around and like nobody's helping you? I mean, and I have had nightmares even now as an adult. Like if I'm really stressed out, I will occasionally have a straight up Leatherface dream where I'm being chased through like woods and mountains and he's got dogs and he's chasing me down. So there's true trauma with that film. So don't watch it unless you've got a true heart of steel.
See, but then you strike a good balance with another daylight horror movie, and you watch The Hills Have Eyes, where you got daylight killers, but the dog is the hero in that movie.
Well, yeah. What happens to the other dog that makes the dog the hero,
my
John?
God.
Nothing.
What happens to the other dog, John?
We're all the people.
I saw the new Hills Have Eyes like the first 15 minutes, and I was like, stop. Never. No.
The new Hills Have Eyes.
Raping a baby. Sorry, you can cut that out.
Yeah.
But
No,
seriously, the worst.
Yeah, the original Hills Have Eyes is much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like less graphic, but it's one of the most heroic dogs in movie
It's a
history.
badass dog.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll just watch those parts.
I still think Boomer from Independence Day is one of my favorite hero dogs in movies.
Aw.
But to your point, Marcy, like when you know that the movie is terrifying and based on a true story, it just adds a layer of ick that like I can't really deal with. Like there's a lot of movies, you know, especially in the last 20 years that are partially based on a true story or whatever. But the one that surprised me the most is actually Jeepers Creepers. Like, obviously, none of these supernatural elements are based on a true story, but the whole setup at the beginning with the people on the road and the guy in a truck trying to run them off a road is based on a true story. And it ends up being creepy anyway. And when I found that out, I was like, man, what is it? Why do people do this? Like, I think I understand it from an artistic perspective, but it's not the kind of thing I would go see at the museum personally.
I just want to see him in line to the DMV every 23 years. There are questions. There are questions about Jeepers. I love Jeepers Creepers. I love the original Jeepers Creepers. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, so he's driving a car with a license plate. Okay, how does this work?
I mean, if there's a genre other than science fiction where you're not supposed to ask too many questions, right? Here is another one of our very good callers and one of, again, the most consistent, and I can't wait to hear this.
Hey, Open Pike. It's Abby Summer from the First Flight podcast. First of all, I'm going to say that I don't have a favorite scary movie because I don't like scary movies. I don't like being scared. There's enough anxiety in my life. I don't need to seek it out. So scary episodes of Star Trek are tough for me. So let me give you one that I do watch over and over again, and that's Genesis from TNG. Yeah. I find it bordering on the edge of silly, so I can handle that one. But two of them that I have a very hard time going back to are both Voyager episodes, and they're Revulsion with the crazy hologram, and it's The Thaw with Fear. Yep. I will watch them if I'm doing a full rewatch, but I won't go back to them for any other reason because they leave me creeped out and then I have bad dreams and don't sleep. And I don't do that enough anyway. So enjoy talking about all of your scary. I hope that you've got some good thoughts on those, and I hope this finds you in yours well. We'll talk soon.
I knew I had an ally in Abby in so many ways, and I'm glad she mentioned Genesis being a little silly because, like, everybody keeps mentioning it, and I'm like, really? That one? Because even TNG has scarier episodes.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah.
Still very curious.
I'm interested to hear what Cameron thinks. I think you're destined to compare it to an earlier episode, potentially unfavorably, but I'll get there when I get there in my Green Shirt listen, which, I mean, obviously everybody should be listening to Green Shirt, right? It's a newbie's trek through the next generation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told.
And if you don't like TNG, you can always listen to Idle Ride, where right now Marcy is discussing the Fallout show, and it's a great series. Actually,
kind of has some horror elements, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hugely horror inspired. I mean, there's a whole company based off of H.P. Lovecraft and the Fallout games, the Dunwich Horrors. So,
yep.
Well, and you began with The Last of Us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't even finish the first game, Last of Us, because I was incredibly offended that they forced me to have emotions in the first 15 minutes or something. I was like, this is not why I play video games. I play video games to relax, to get away from it all, to catch them all, or to talk with my friends online. Those are the only reasons.
I do believe we have one more caller.
All right, let's hear from Jen.
Hey, Open Pike, this is Jen. It's been a minute since I've called in. My favorite Next Generation episode that's spooky is Genesis, where they all de-evolve. The spider scene never fails to make me jump. For spooky movies, I like The Thing, The Blob, Dawn of the Dead, 28 Days Later, and Train to Busan.
Train to Busan.
I tend to favor scary movies where it's like there's no escape, like there's no winning, everybody's gonna die, or almost everybody dies, and it's just kind of hopeless, because those are the ones that really get in my head and will give me my own fun scary movies when I dream. Well, happy Halloween. Bye.
That is a great list.
There's spiders in Genesis? What?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Also, Jen's energy, before we get into like talking and not talking about Genesis again.
Hey there, note from Cameron in the editor's booth. I'm going to talk about Genesis again because actually I just got done watching it for the first time, so now I can talk about it. Heck yes, Jen, that spider scene made me jump. Not just because it was a spider. I actually thought he was a fly at first because he looked a lot like the Grundle fly, but all the more reason, 100% guys, Genesis is an amazing horror film. It's a little silly, but some of the best horror films are. Genesis. Body horror on Star Trek. Amazing. I'm guessing Jesse was referencing Identity Crisis with the previous episode. This was a lot more fun. So much more fun. Oh, guys. Genesis. I cannot wait to talk about that one. Okay, back to the episode.
I love Jen's energy of like, I'm like, I don't ever want to have these scary dreams. And she's like, and I can't wait until this movie gives me those creepy fun dreams at night. Like, dang. Can you like come to my dreams and protect me from Leatherface? Because I feel like that's the kind of person you would be.
Having met Jen, yes, she would totally protect you, even in your dreams.
Yeah.
And yeah, my wife is kind of the same way. Like, she doesn't like a lot of gore, but she loves slasher movies, and she's constantly listening to true crime podcasts. And I'm like, how can you do this? Like, she's explained it to me, and I get it. But I'm like, dude, I would just be incredibly depressed all the time if I were listening to true crime, personally.
I'm with you there. I can do horror. I can do films. I can even do films that are, quote unquote, based on real things. Like, I can't do true crime. It's like, no, there's enough going on. There's enough going on. I don't need to put this in my ears.
Yeah.
I will say the Blob is definitely an honorable mention for me as well, especially the 1980s Blob, which was probably like that. If I was going off Marcy's scale, that might be number one for me, because I used to be able to sneak out of my bedroom and like sit at the end of the couch on like the heater vent and get all nice and toasty.
I did that too.
And my parents wouldn't know I was there, and I could watch whatever they were watching. And once they were watching the 1980s Blob and pretty early into it, I think the Blob's first kill, it falls on like a boyfriend and the girl's pulling on his arm, trying to get him out from under the Blob. And then the arm comes off. And I was like, nope, I'm done. Going back to bed. Shouldn't have come out here. And I could never sit in one place without staring at the ceiling for like 10 years after that moment. Like, going to the bathroom was just like, you'd get an ache in my neck just staring at the ceiling. Like, you're not going to get me, Blob.
One of my movies has an almost exact storyline for me. I really like Train to Busan. It's such a good, like, I watch a lot of Korean television shows and movies and stuff. And so I watched that really early on before it was like introduced to America. Like, I had it streaming. And yeah, it's like a really good zombie movie. I guess for me, those ones that are like just survival are not as scary, so it's easier for me to watch zombie horror because it's not like it's a human being who you think you could reason with but just decides that they're going to eat you. It's like a mindless being, right? So it's not as scary as like a psycho killer. Yeah, that was a really good, fun zombie horror, and with a kind of tricky, interesting ending that you wouldn't expect. So
all right, so what do we do, guys? Do we start with the scary stuff or do we start with the Trek stuff? Because even at its scariest, Star Trek is probably not going to approach the same level as some of these movies on these lists, if I had to guess.
I think we should end with the Trek.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because
all right.
We'll leave people with what we're actually supposed to be here to talk about, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, I'll go first. Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. But I actually
Halloween Town.
When the first time I saw that, I was like, somebody made this? Okay. But then,
I've been to Halloween Town. They put on a whole bash here. Where they filmed it.
I grew to appreciate it. Let's put it that way. So,
it's terrible, but the town is cool.
What about Halloween Town 2, Cameron? How do you feel about the sequel? All right.
Oh, I couldn't even get there.
Let's be the gentleman that so many people seem to, for some reason, assume that we are, and have Marcy go first.
Oh, sure. So like I said, mine are rated based off of trauma starting at the beginning. Because like thinking about scary movies made me go through my whole life. And so I'm starting with the very first one that distinctly, minus E.T., which was even earlier, I remember being traumatized, which is almost the exact same story as Cameron's. Is my room was downstairs, and they would put me to bed, but the couch was facing towards the TV, which they couldn't see me, and so I would like army crawl out of the bedroom behind the couch, and that is when I watched Communion from 1989, which is one of the most terrifying alien abduction movies with Christopher Walken kind of at his best, where he kind of goes through the process of figuring out he's been abducted. But there's one specific scene in it where he's like in a chair and the aliens are coming to him, but he's like in that kind of paralyzed state. So he knows what's happening, but can't do anything. And every time, like when I went to bed, I would lay in my bed terrified that what if they come to get me, but I can't move and I can't scream and I can't get help. And so that's alien abduction has been like the number one scariest thing. Because even now as an adult, I could imagine that being real because I know aliens exist in this universe. So that's number one.
Preach, Marcy.
Yep.
Preach.
Excellent.
We've already talked about Event Horizon, so I don't need to go into that, but that was 1997. So like just before I graduated high school. Then Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we already talked about. Thanks, Alex. I do want to add in, just because I feel like it was a whole event, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Because
that was very close to being in my top 5.
I think like I was scared when I watched it because I do a lot of camping, and they faked that it was a real thing that they found. And people didn't know if it was real or not at the time when they went to the movies. And it was one of like the first, I think, accepted and like handheld camera, like scary movie. And
found footage. Yeah.
Found footage. So I wanted to add that one because it did actually scare me when I first watched it. Now it's not as scary when I watch it. But like the first time you do, and with like the idea in the back of your head that maybe this is like what happened to somebody, you know, I feel like that was a really cool one. And then I can't make a list, as you know, without putting Descent on it.
So good. So good.
So it's like an all-female cast, and it's about these women that go spelunking and get stuck in a cave. So the first part's still scary because crawling through caves is like gives me the heebie-jeebies just to think about like having to go through all those little cracks and stuff.
Yeah.
And then once they get stuck in there, there's also creepy, scary, white-skinned, blind, fucking cannibal beasts that come after them. So they're doing all these cool like cave like jumping and climbing, but getting taken out by these like monsters. But there's also this like drama, like girl drama going on in the group, which is really fun. I just love that it was a female-led kind of thriller, I would say, more than like full-on horror. But it's pretty horror-y. There's lots of blood and guts in it. But I liked that it was girl power, you know?
I was going to say, there's watching that movie, my ass clenched so tight to turn coal to diamond. And that was before the monsters ever showed up. That was just when they were like almost got stuck in that tiny little crawl space.
100%.
Long before it became a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything about it is scary. You can't get out of a cave. You're running out of supplies. Then suddenly they add this other element that's scary, you know?
Something's trying to kill you and eat you.
Also, the drama. But I there are some times that I wish we were a video podcast, and if the audience could see Marcy's facial expressions and like gesticulations while she's describing this movie, I think you would really understand this really did affect her, and in a visceral way. I really like that. And one thing I noticed about this movie when I Googled it, because I remember it coming out, I obviously didn't see it, but it is directed by Neil Marshall, who also directed a movie called Dog Soldiers, which I absolutely love. Like maybe the top werewolf movie ever. Like so much fun.
Also directed some of the best Game of Thrones episodes. Like think back to your favorite Game of Thrones episodes. He probably directed them.
Yes.
He did all the big battle ones.
Yeah, Blackwater, The Watchers on the Wall, and he did get some Emmy nominations for that. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Huh.
And also, it taught me that those climbing, they're not ice axes, which are different, but like a pickaxe are really good weapons.
Well, everybody remembers the hit movie Vertical Limit, right?
Of course.
Yes, I do actually. Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I remember the scene where I can't remember who the Isabella from what's her Sarupo from Goldeneye. She's like messes up her hand and her fingers all broken backward. And they have to reset the bone, like floats up. Yeah, that is
what
what I
about the
remember
one
from
with
Vertical Limit.
Stallone? What was it called?
Hell yeah, Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger's the best.
Yep.
John Lithgow is the villain.
Yeah, Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
You know what I love about Vertical Limit is they're like, we're climbing the most dangerous mountain in the world. Sorry, stakes not high enough. Put bombs on the mountain. Like,
I know.
What?
It's the most ridiculous movie.
Okay, movie, sure. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It has Chris O'Donnell, Bill Paxton, and Robin Tunney all in one movie. So it's hard to go wrong there. Sorry, I didn't mean
Jesse,
to.
Let's hear from you next.
I didn't mean to bring up Vertical Limit in mixed company. All right, so I'm sure that Cameron is getting ready to point and laugh at me, which I'm fine with. It's totally fine. And I didn't put these in an order. I put them in like, oh, I remember seeing that, so now it's going on my list.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna start actually with Halloween 2018 because. I put the original Halloween on here as an honorable mention because I get it. It defined a genre. It was the beginning of this kind of movie for a lot of people. And I saw maybe like half of each of the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I may have seen all of the second one and was like, what is this? Like, nobody needs this. You don't need this explanation. You're not supposed to feel bad for Michael Myers. He's a killer with no reasoning. He's like one step away from being that cannibal monster animal style killer that Marcy was talking about earlier. And Halloween 2018 like directly indicts the need to give Michael Myers a reason and a motivation. And I really like that. And that first trailer where you see them like yelling at him to turn around and like put on the mask, like it was super intense and it was so well shot. And let's be honest, he kills a bunch of podcasters in that movie, so it really hit me in my heart. But I feel like they really got back to that visceral fear of Michael Myers. Like, no, you don't have to have personally wronged him. You just have to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Michael Myers will come after you because that's what he does. That's all you need. And I had a ton of fun with that movie. The second two movies in that trilogy, I think I had diminishing returns on, especially the third one. I was like, you cannot do this and then not explain what you've just done, but whatever. Like, go for it, movie. It's fine. My next one up is actually going to be The Thing. This is one of those movies that I watched while my parents were not at the house. It happened to be on whatever premium movie channel, and I was like, okay, sci-fi, like it says sci-fi somewhere in the description. I'm like, I'm into this. And despite being totally not a horror person, totally not a gore person, I was completely hooked and into this movie the entire way through. I think that some of it might have to do with the fact that while the practical effects are amazing, legendary, all of the above.
And Kurt Russell's hair.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell's hair. Well, that's not a special effect. That's just real life.
It is.
But despite all that, I think that the visuals do look like they come out of the 80s in a very specific way. So I think I was able to disconnect from it just enough on a personal level to really enjoy the story, the suspense, and like the straight up insanity that is this movie. And then, as you get older, you realize like, oh, this is basically Lovecraft on film. And it's just so effective in so many ways. There's so many scenes. Like a lot of folks in my mother's generation talk about, the first time they saw that alien chest burster. And I'm like, no, I remember the first time I saw that dude's stomach eat a guy. Like that was insane.
If I ever have to give CPR, I will hesitate for half a second before
Seriously.
I like that movie is formative in my like placing of hands on the chest. Like, I'm about to lose these arms.
Also, is it just me? Is there something so like viscerally satisfying about when they put the hot pin into the
the
petri
blood.
dish?
Yes.
Yeah, the blood. Like, I don't know, that sound. Whoever created that sound effect.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. And the movie takes its freaking time. Like, it sets you up right away, right? But then the rest of the movie is like, hey, don't worry. It's coming, and you will be afraid. Just relax. I love the pacing of it. I love everything about it. I may end up watching it again sometime soon. The next movie on my list, of course, is Event Horizon. We can't say enough about that. That's a movie where I believe a cousin of mine was like, "Oh, you like the Jurassic Park guy? You got to check this movie out." And I'm like, that is an absolute bait and switch. There's no other way to say that.
Well, he did another horror movie too, didn't he?
He
did a Lovecraft.
Oh, he did Mouth of Madness, Omen 3.
Omen 3. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Point being that movie was done to me, and it's not a movie I chose to watch. But same kind of thing. Like, it was good, and I remember hating watching it, but it stuck with me, and not just because it was gross. Like, it's a well-made movie. And like I said before, I still to this day have not seen it a second time, and I don't recommend you ever watch it more than once. When I was asking my wonderful, lovely wife to help me build this list, I said, "Have you seen Event Horizon?" And she said, "No, I haven't." I said, "Good, don't."
What?
So,
wow.
Trust me, she would
I
not.
just showed my girlfriend that recently for the first time. She'd never seen it before.
It is not something that she would enjoy, and I've been with her long enough to know that. Speaking of things my wife would enjoy, I have to put Scream on here because the first time I saw Scream, I'll admit, I was going in with my arms crossed. It's another one of my wife's favorite movies where I was like, I don't know how you could enjoy a slasher movie. I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal. And then as I got into the movie, I was like, oh, this movie is making fun of itself. Like, I'm completely here for this. The whole movie is great. Jamie Kennedy notwithstanding. And, as the movies go on, they become less of what they were. But I really liked Scream 5. It has Jack Quaid in it. It has Melissa Barrera. It has Jenna Ortega. Like, I had more fun with Scream 5 than I thought I would. And I had more fun with Scream 5 than I did with Scream 4. And yes, I've seen them all at this point, and I started as an absolute skeptic. So I think
more Screams than I have.
Yeah.
Scream 3 was on the TV a little while ago. Yeah.
Any movie that can take you from skeptic to yes, I'll go see it, I think has accomplished something. And it's not horror.
Scream is a fantastic film.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun with that movie. Now, this last movie on my list comes from 2002. I promise it's not Crossroads, because as we discussed, that's actually a pretty good movie. Now, here's the thing. In 2002, I was 12, okay? Or 13, depending on what part of the year you're talking about. So when this movie came out, I'm 12 or 13. I do not generally watch scary movies. I overinvest when I watch a movie. And because of that, The Ring absolutely messed me up. You guys, I could not sleep for like 2 days. I was just shaken to my core. And I can still picture that sliding closet door with the girl's reaction face from when she died of being afraid. I can't, like, that movie made horses scary. Horses are nice. We love horses. I could not deal with this movie, and my wife to this day goes, I cannot believe that movie messed you up so bad. Which, is a testament to the dynamic that we have in our taste in movies. And the last thing I'll say here is I'm going to throw out, this is not a horror movie, it's just kind of scary. It's an honorable mention, it's not on my list for a reason. But The Forgotten from 2004 with Julianne Moore, where they never tell you what is going on in the trailers for this movie, and then halfway through they're like, boom, here's what's going on. I was like, what?
That moment of like, oh man, what's going on? Isn't it? Oh no, it is. It absolutely is in a spectacular fashion.
I have so many memories of watching movies with John, because I'm pretty sure we watched this one together, of us just like turning to each other at certain points with like that grin on our face.
Yeah.
That movie, and especially the scene, I think we all know the shot. Like,
I mean, there are some scenes in there that are like, that have stuck with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The first time the guy is screaming at her, you need to forget, and his face like just does this thing. I'm like,
for a minute. Yeah.
Excuse me? Is she like? Is this a psychosis-based thing? Like, I can't hang.
Yeah.
And I think the movie is better than it gets credit for. And I just, again, I know it's not a horror movie, but I had to toss it out there as an honorable mention.
It's a movie that slow burns and forgets to crescendo, but man, is it a memorable movie. I love that film. Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
I feel like The Ring is another one of those that was kind of a phenomenon. Like when it came out, like it was in the time when memes were just starting, and there was like tons of stuff, like people making fun of The Ring, like dressing up like the Ring Girl, and like I would say in the Last of Us television show, there's a zombie little girl in it that they hired this like contortionist kid to play this fast zombie creepy kid girl that reminds me a little bit of that like Ring walk,
Yeah.
But I feel like in that era is when there was like a movie that would become a phenomenon, and I feel like it doesn't happen in the same way now.
Well, and it doesn't, that I don't think that movie works the same way now, because like,
no one knows what a VHS tape is.
Nobody knows what a VHS tape is. They don't know what television static is. They don't know what a landline is. So like, there's reasons why it was of the time. But like, I saw static on TVs as a kid. I had a VHS player. Like, I'm right there on the cusp, So I was like, and like I said, I bought way too into it. I was ruined for days.
That's a very good list, Jesse.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed about with that list.
Thank you. I was hoping to gain back some respectability.
In fact, there's a little bit of overlap. I'll throw out my runners up real quick. American Werewolf in London is just an amazing, and I'm already regretting maybe I should have put it in the top 5. It's like just an incredible movie and an amazing ending. Tremors, of course, if you want to know my feelings about that, go listen to me talk with Newman the Space Hippie over on the Movies for Days podcast.
Excellent episode.
How perfect a movie I think that is. And The Burbs, which I left off.
Oh, The Burbs. I love The
because
Burbs.
maybe you want to say it's more of a comedy, but it's so good.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes. Yes. But my top five are number 5, Shaun of the Dead. It's hard to get a more perfect film than that. Like from beginning to end, it's so well crafted, but it doesn't feel like overly crafted.
Yeah,
it feels like kind of just like a thrown together indie film. But when you really look at it, it's like, wow, this was impeccably made. It's as funny as it is scary, and
so rewatchable. I feel like
I
rewatch that regularly because it is so good and funny and it's poignant.
Because they play the zombies straight. But then everything else is like, I mean, it's kind of like Scream in that way. Yeah. Number 4 is The Thing, for all the reasons Jesse said. It's just, I remember watching that in college, and I think I saw it in high school and liked it, but I remember watching in college and being like, holy shit, did we just watch like the Holy Grail of filmmaking? Is that what we just watched? Like, the special effects are incredible. Everything about it so good. Number 3 is Hellraiser. It's just one of my favorite horror films. It's the world building, I think, is what tips me over for that, because it's like horror fantasy is such an interesting kind of subgenre in itself, and this is kind of the ultimate version of that, with just these beautifully grotesque imagery of Clive Barker's mind. And
plus it stars Garrick, man. I mean, come on.
That's right. Oh yeah, I'm just now making that connection. Holy shit. So good. And then, like one of our previous callers, really my number 2, I mean, those like all could have been swapped around, but my number 2 is The Evil Dead. It's the film that made me want to make movies. It's the film that made me love horror films.
I knew that would be on your list. Hell yeah.
It's everything you want like a no-budget horror film to be. It's so good. And then number 1, of course, is my favorite movie of all time, is Jaws. It's an action film. It's a comedy. It's a drama. It's a horror. It's the pinnacle of all, animal gone wild movies there is, and it's amazing. And I do love like how it does just kind of like like shyly tip a toe into the water of Supernatural when they're like, I've never seen a shark behave this way. And they never like go out and be like, oh, this shark is supernatural. But I do love how they kind of like play in those waters, so to speak, without it ever having to get too silly. So that's my top 5 horror films.
All top 5.
Oh, that's the shark one. I was thinking Jaws was the big snake.
Because not Anaconda. Because
they open their jaws.
And Jennifer Lopez is nowhere near this film.
I knew it was a shark.
The movie that made the whole world afraid of sharks. People
and water,
kill sharks now indiscriminately because of that film.
Had heated arguments with people who say it's a bad film because of that. I'm like, well, it's not a bad film. You can be mad at the outcome of it, but
oh yeah, it's not a bad film, and people
don't take it
stupid,
out on the film.
But I think it's really interesting, like the effect that it truly had on the psyche of the whole world, practically, at least the Western world.
I was gonna say, I don't think they make shark fin soup because of Jaws, but I hear where you're coming from.
All right. Well, for my top 5, this was tough because I like to say I'm not much of a horror movie guy, but then I go to make a list like this. I'm like, damn, 5 is all I get. So I have to start with, and it would be if we were picking a top series, this would be my series pick, Phantasm. I love. I picked the first film, but as a series too, I love it. It's low budget, it's messy, but then as it goes on, you'd think, yeah, the movies get more and more low budget, but man, they tie those films together as it goes on in a way that I just think is amazing and shows how much of a payoff patience can have in filmmaking over the long term, and is used to great effect as the films go on. After that, I got to go with Silence of the Lambs. I know one of our callers mentioned it. It's a fantastic film. It terrifies me every time I watch it, but it terrifies me in ways that I love. I love that it's not supernatural, that it is just straight up human horror, and is so tense. Like I think the only other time I felt so tense watching a film is the first half an hour or so of Punch Drunk Love, which I know you wouldn't think is a horror film, but the first 30 minutes of that, and it's not on my list, but the first half hour of that movie is a horror film, absolutely, especially for anybody with anxiety.
Hate that movie. Hate that movie so much. Thank you.
That movie so much.
It's an amazing movie. After that, I got to go with Stir of Echoes. That movie stuck with me and has stuck with me, and I'll pop it on every few years. Again, it is just a small scale, quiet little horror film, and man, does it work. It works so amazingly well.
I usually don't love like ghost stories like that, but that's the exception.
Yeah. It's one of my, there was another one that was a runner-up called Darkness. Anna Paquin, it was a Spanish film. Not Darkness Falls, not the one with the tooth fairy is the monster, just called Darkness. But my Event Horizon, for all the reasons, is my number 2. And one was tough, but I got to go with Donnie Darko. I think Donnie Darko is a beautiful horror film. I know some people would be like, "Is it really horror?" I think it's horror. I think it's about a kid losing his mind, thinking the world is going to end, and trying to decide whether or not he is going to cause it or prevent it or what's going on. It's not as much of an event movie as The Ring was, like Marcy was saying, but it was definitely an event movie for a certain group of people, and I was definitely in that group of people. Yeah. That's my top 5.
Nice.
Now, is Phantasm the one with the little silver ball drone thing? Okay.
Yep.
I know that because of the video game Terraria. You should totally play Terraria.
Oh, cute. Can I as we were all talking, I did think of one more that I want to tell the audience about, because I don't think I like sci-fi kind of horror-esque thrillers. And one of my favorite movies is Pandorum. It's got a great cast. I think
Ben Foster,
Dennis Quaid, Norman Reedus. And it's just like got a great sort of like tension throughout the whole movie. You're in this ship. This guy wakes up. He doesn't know what happened to the ship. He crawls through the innards and he's getting attacked by these like creatures that are kind of like Descent, which is probably why I like it because they look a little bit like the Descent creatures.
In space.
Descent in space. It is actually kind of like that because he's crawling through shit all the time. But yeah, that is like one of my all-time favorite like sci-fi thriller horrors. And making these lists made me realize I'm like, I don't like horror, and I'm like, Jesus, Marcy, you like watched a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. Same here.
A lot of the like movies, I think there are some obscure movies that have been mentioned, or at least that I've never even heard of from like our callers and from you guys. But it's cool to see all like the different things in movies that are out there that I'm sure half the audience and I didn't know about, that then you can go check out if you want. So
Okay, I want people to think about this, and we'll see if it works. But think about a horror movie that you would tell people to absolutely never watch because it's terrible, because it's just not worth watching. So if something pops in, maybe we'll come back around to that. But I do have one. So
Requiem for a Dream.
No, make every 13-year-old watch that film.
Human Centipede. I never watched it, but I know not to watch it or anyone to watch it.
So, Cameron, I just want to clear the air here.
Oh, uh-oh.
I've never liked Jamie Kennedy. It's not because of anything recent. It's not like something that I've just, happened upon. I just have never, ever liked him, and I feel like I should let you know.
It's not something Jesse's experimented with. He believes in it. Yeah.
Seriously.
Humor there for you. Yep.
Yes.
That's good, John.
I think if you've been introduced to him with Scream back in the day, it might be a different story. I can understand now maybe if you come to Scream later on after his reputation.
All right. So, yeah, my first introduction to him was Malibu's Most Wanted.
Wow.
And I was like,
that'll leave an imprint.
This is a movie I have never seen, but based on the trailers alone, I was like, I do not like this person, and I am not going to watch anything he does. And I didn't. And then when he popped up in Scream, I looked at my wife like, you know how I feel about Jamie Kennedy? And she said, yeah, but you have to watch Scream. It's a classic. I said, all right, okay. It's sometimes we make sacrifices for love.
The worst thing this series ever did was kill him off in 2.
Hard disagree.
So much so they had to bring him back in a VHS in 3.
Yep.
All right. Well,
he could have been played by anyone. Sorry, go ahead.
Bring it, son of a bitch. Back around to Star Trek now, and some of those spooky episodes. I'm curious to know what other people picked. I've really only got one on my list, so hopefully it doesn't get taken.
What if we count to 3 and I'll say the episode on Cameron's list at the same time?
Well, but I don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
Jesse knows what it is.
I'm pretty sure I know it.
I think John probably knows what it is too.
I think it might be mine.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
do you want to?
Let's all say our episode at once.
Yeah.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Schisms.
Wait, did we all pick Schisms?
No, I picked Empok Nor.
Oh. Okay.
Now, to John's credit, Empok Nor rules. I love Empok Nor. But I think the first scary Star Trek episode I ever saw in my life was definitely Schisms. And it's just messed up.
Well, going back to everything Marcy said about alien abduction movies, yeah, it's a fucking alien abduction movie on the Starship Enterprise. It's amazing. When Dr. Crusher says the thing about his bone being fused back to get
his arm getting taken
but
off?
Millimeters apart. Holy shit. Star Trek made me feel a way like some of the scariest horror movies never made me feel.
And so in preparation for this, the hour that I had, or 2 hours, guess what I watched just before?
Nice.
Well, Andrew was like, I don't know, what's the scariest television show? And that's why I love this man. He's like, you remember that one with Riker where he gets abducted and they cut his arm off? And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That is the scariest one. And he's like, we should watch it. And I was like, yes.
Are you sure you don't love him for his voice? Because damn.
He sounds like Goofy or something.
Your impersonation of him has gotten a lot better. It's hard to tell you two apart nowadays.
At least it's not high and whiny like I normally make it.
But yeah, I mean, as I said before, I really loved All Those Who Wander specifically because I love Alien and aliens. And I was like, yeah, give me that. I'm fine with it. Like, I saw a lot of complaining, like, oh, this is just Alien. And I'm like, hey, if you're gonna steal, you steal from the masters.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I'm so here for that episode. And of course, I have to mention the actual arguable Star Trek Halloween episode, which is Cat's Paw from the original series. Is it scary? No. Is it a horror show? No. But it is Halloween almost like on its face. And I think they even mention All Hallows Eve, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen it, but definitely check out Cat's Paw. It's got witches. It's got William Shatner. What more could you ask for?
Are we stepping away from schisms already? Because I'm not done talking about it.
No.
Go for it.
Yeah, we
Go
gotta
for
talk
it.
about that holodeck
Yeah.
scene.
Go for it.
Actually, we have a clip, so let's listen to that really quick. Spooky Star Trek clip, guys.
All right. You were lying on the table. You had a bright light shining in your eyes. Were there any smells in the room? Were there any sounds?
Yes. Yes, there was a sound. Computer, there were noises coming from the darkness. Strange. Like whispering.
More like clicks. Clicking sounds.
Louder. Faster.
Wetter.
More of them.
I've been in this room before.
We've all been here before.
So good.
So the pacing of this episode is so good. Like, you don't actually see the horrors really happen, but the effects of the horror are just as creepy and just like the matter-of-fact way, like you said, Cameron, where the doctor's like, your arm was recently removed and reattached, and you're like, what the fuck?
Who wants to hear that?
And just the slow. I remember like the slow Riker like losing focus for a minute at the console, like slowly running his hand over it. Like, it's like, wait, what the hell is going on? And just zoning out for a second because he's remembering. Like, oh, beautiful little moments in that episode.
And then they get to the ending, and you're like, okay, well, it's Star Trek in the 90s. I mean, I kind of wish they had just used like the communion aliens and just gone full, just use the Greylings
or
the
not like
aliens.
show the alien, right? Like, because they're
Maybe,
there's wearing these like huge cloaks. So if they were like, you didn't know what they looked like, it's almost scarier than like the weird aliens that they chose.
I also really like that we finally get to see somebody use the holodeck in like a practical, believable way.
Like a forensic holodeck use.
Yeah, like
that, and the weird one where Geordi becomes like a weird being person. It's the only other
That
time I
was
can
my
think of that.
second one, Identity.
Yeah, Identity
Crisis. Yeah.
Yeah, Identity Crisis.
Let's go spitball some ideas visually. Like it would be a great conference room. The holodeck itself, like, you don't need a real conference room. Just go to the holodeck and decide every time. Like, it's a really cool way to use that idea as a tool rather than just as, set dressing. Like, I really, really like that. But I mean, you guys, John is right. Empok Nor is where it's at.
And I obviously
can't wait to watch it.
I can't go too into it, but it is a horror episode. Like I gotta credit it as like, no, they meant to make a horror episode. They made a horror episode.
Nice.
And what I really love is, like all things DS9, it has repercussions. The horror episode gets called back later on just because of the events in it. Like it's good. Just I think it's the best, like hands down. Even I like All Those Who Wander. I think Empok Nor is the best horror episode of Trek that I've seen. And to be fair, I haven't seen Voyager. I have not seen the Brad Dourif story, his character's arc in that show. But I don't know how horror it is, but I know it's obviously dark. But yeah, Mbach Noor, I will watch that again and again and be creeped out each time.
Looking forward to it.
All right, now let's talk about Move Along Home, because I know that there. No, I'm totally playing.
And if you have to avoid one horror movie, unpopular opinion, here it comes, but just don't waste your time watching Nope. Don't.
Oh, are you serious?
Nope is the most. Nope is boring garbage.
What? There's a scene in there that seared itself in that like terrified me as a 40-year-old man.
Man, I was disappointed.
Really?
I was so disappointed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the Jordan Peele new alien abduction one?
That's Nope.
Nope.
That's Nope. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like that one? I thought it was really fun.
I mean, well, it's a little fun. It's basically Jaws, so of course I'm going to love it.
Yeah, by the end of
Jaws
it,
with aliens.
you're like, oh my god, this is not what I expected at all.
It goes some places though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
So because I almost never go see a movie that could be considered close to horror in the movie theaters, I'm going to say I had a lot of fun with Alien Romulus. I think it sticks close enough to the original formula. The performances are very, very good.
So good.
And it's just, again, like if you're going to go with a formula, go with one that works. And this movie really does some justice to the Alien franchise, and I had a lot of fun watching it, minus one part where I was like, why did you do that? You don't actually have to have that specific character here to make this work, and I don't appreciate that, but, anybody who's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I look forward to watching it soon.
Yeah, I appreciated that, but set piece wise, I'm like, wow, I haven't seen this in a space movie before, and I'm really glad I've seen it now. Like, this is something new that has not been put on film that I've seen before. This is great. So
also, it reminded me of Romulans because of the word Romulus.
Exactly.
Cam, we should watch Romulus together because I haven't seen it yet either.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, while they're doing that on Halloween, we hope all of our fantastic callers and listeners are having a spooky, fantastic time.
Ooh, that was good.
I don't have one of those. But I do want to say thank you to producer John for that amazing intro. Like, in my head, I'm like, so is this just going to be a regular startup? And then John will explain it. But you know me, I'm a sucker for a good pun, and all of those were A+ puns. Very well done, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I honestly planned that about 10 minutes ahead of time. I was like, why would I do a normal intro? No.
That was beautiful.
I can't do that to our listeners.
I got to be honest, this has been a pretty good 30-minute bonus episode for Halloween.
30 minutes.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, it has been a much longer night than we planned, but man, this has been a fantastic discussion. The Open Pike Night crew has to walk back into the back room because the lights are out. I'm sure everything will be fine. So be sure to clean up after yourselves. Be sure to tip your servers. You can go anywhere you want, but you can't stay here.
Also, I don't care what anybody says. The Village was scary the first time you saw it. Don't have it.